Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mackem Football Show on Friday night, live on YouTube and available on all podcasting services. Today I'm joined, if you're watching, by DJ and Jacob. We do have Paul and Dov on the call so they can join at any point. You'll see their names pop up if they do decide they have a couple of minutes spare. But we have a lot to talk about from a Sunderland perspective. Hello, DJ, and hello, Jacob.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, there's a couple of things we can go through today, but first I just want to do a little bit of a shout out, I guess, to John Motson, who sadly passed away this week, and yeah, just the amount of work it was yesterday actually, on the 23rd of Feb, the amount of work he's done for football up and down the country on his commentaries, it's a noteworthy career, and sad passing.
I didn't know he was well. Passed away in his sleep.
That's the best way to go, I think, isn't it? Don't know about it.
Painless.
I don't know if you've got work the next day, like you know what I mean.
He can't even call in sick, can he?
Oh
No.
can't.
So that's weird. That's way too soon.
Don't.
Yeah, but he's done loads of work up and down the football, the UK football. Saying he's done Scotland games, he's done England games, he's done FA Cup finals, he's done FIFA, TalkSport, BBC. The only thing he didn't do though was ITV. So, what does that say about ITV footy? But yeah, sad passing from John.
I think he was 77.
77.
Right.
Yeah.
77 what?
Years old.
Oh, I was going to say the.
Hi, Dov. Well,
I don't think he commentated on many Sunderland games. I know
That's
John Motson in the '73 FA Cup final. It was I think it was Barry Davis and Jimmy Hill who did the '73 FA Cup win over Leeds.
Well, he basically did it for Match of the Day for a long time, and the '70s era wasn't really covered that much by TV. So unless it was on the radio at that time, it's unlikely that he covered that game. But I believe he was covering the Hillsborough disaster as well, which is
he was. I remember him doing when the terrorists were filling up.
Mm-hmm.
John Motson made an off-air comment.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he was telling the camera. He says, "Look down there." He says, "No, there." He says, "It's absolutely round in the middle." And he says, "But look at all the empty the stairs. You can see the crush barriers." He says, "There's loads of empty spaces." And he was puzzled. He says, "Unless that's for tickets for neutrals," he says, "That's what it is, I suppose."
Well, to be fair, the UK scene has not been. There's no neutral seats in the stadium, is there? It's home or away. There's no.
No, I just think he was puzzled. He couldn't understand why, like, the central bit was just absolutely rammed, and there was like nobody in the end bits, the end pens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's sad time for football. It's I
think he commentated for Sunderland Liverpool in the FA Cup final in 1992.
1992, yeah.
Yes, he did. He's got loads of accolades for FA Cup finals, and he's been labelled as Britain's favoured commentator. So yeah,
mine's better than these bloody women commentating, high pitched screeching away.
I do not stand for that, but as you might be able to tell on the live stream, Paul has joined us as well.
Sorry I'm late, but hello.
Hello. So we no worries about being late. We haven't got into our Sunderland games yet. We're just quickly chatting around John Motson and his passing. So just moments from him, and yeah, enjoying what he did. Essentially, do you have any games or memories of commentaries that you saw of his?
Not really, but I'm actually sad that he's actually died, mate. Like, it was a shock. It was a shock.
Yeah. So you will have seen pretty much any of his commentaries if you've watched an England game over the World Cups. That's been covered by the BBC. He's commentated on every single one of them for the last 10 World Cups. So that's 40 years of football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody, if as long as you've watched an England game during the World Cup, you've listened to John. Yeah. Okay. We'll move on from that. We've got 2 games to cover this week. Next week will only be just the one, which is taking place tomorrow. I think I'm doing a watch-along stream. DJ, are you doing one, or are you busy tomorrow?
No, I'm doing the watch along stream. It's early kickoff half 12, isn't it?
It is. It's a lunchtime kickoff. Paul, I think you're going to the game.
No, actually, not for a change.
What? What? Is it too early? Still in your pajamas at that time?
The tickets all sold out, so for a change, I'm actually going to join you tomorrow.
Oh,
Is that
fantastic.
Paul from RWA?
It is indeed.
Oh, how you doing, Paul? I was chatting to you yesterday. You don't like me jokes on your channel, do you?
You always make us laugh, JJ.
What was that game you were playing yesterday?
The Harry Potter quiz. No, that was the day before, wasn't it? The Harry Potter quiz.
That was we always do a quiz on Kahoot.
That was mad. Uncovering the squares. Guess what these are and that.
Yeah, that was a food quiz last night.
Why? It's proper. It doesn't make any sense to football, but yeah, I guess it's a nice little.
You wouldn't
switch
have liked
up.
it, Lance, if you joined in, because Brad actually put 5 seconds to actually answer the question. I was like, come on.
How? Well, what if there's lag?
I know.
Oh, that's just poor. Give him a full minute. Whoever's fastest wins.
You like that? You liked that joke, didn't you, the other week when I said about the Muffy, Paul? You were laughing. You were in stitches over that.
Yeah, I was actually.
Yeah, Jacob, what are you doing tomorrow? Are you joining us on the watch along? Are you still asleep? You working? What's happening?
Yeah, I'll be joining you. I'll join you.
Good stuff. So we have 2 live streams. If you're a Sunderland fan, you know where to find us. And right, let's talk about the 1-1 draw. Bristol City. I'm disappointed. I'm a little bit. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated considering how much we were like on the up and up and really buzzing around the QPR Reading games. Whoa! Ow!
Fuck me.
That was loud, DJ. Sorry. The down of drawing against Bristol City to a penalty in the last minute.
We're just on live, so I forgot we're on live.
Yeah. What were your feelings about the Bristol City game first and foremost?
It's on pause now. It's fine.
Disappointing to concede late, really. Wasn't it? We could have held on, and we never do it the easy way, and we just conceded a daft penalty. To be honest, it was quite rough, and and that was Bristol's first time scoring from a penalty in quite a while. So it's just a bit embarrassing, really. But
do you think it was a penalty at all?
It did look quite bad, but there's probably worse than that. But it's referee's decision at the end of the day. I'd probably say yeah. To be fair,
so I don't think it is a penalty. I think the incident would have been a penalty if it was isolated, but the first foul on him causes him to foul the striker. So the striker clips his back leg. He's falling and he pulls. Well, he basically tries to cushion his fall by grabbing onto the striker's legs, and the striker goes down in the box, and the referee just sees him falling over and grabbing this player down at the ground. He doesn't see that the person's been tripped by that striker to cause that pull down. So if it was VAR, I genuinely think that wouldn't have been given as a penalty, because the first foul would have caused a stop in play, and that would have cascaded. Darth, welcome along. You're free to join if you want, if you've got the time. But yeah, it was given, and it kind of put a really damp squib on the end of what was, I think, a really good Sunderland display. It just goes to this. It just goes to show you can never really rest on just one goal, and especially in this league. To be fair, sometimes you can't even rest on 2 goals. But the fact that we didn't score a second cost us in that match all 3 points. We do end up taking up 1, which is okay. Kept us in the playoffs for that match. But I thought for about 90 minutes of that game, we win with a shout of taking home all 3 points. It's just that one moment at the very end. Paul?
Well, I was there, and you probably wouldn't. Well, you wouldn't have seen me on the stream because I was sitting in the southwest corner.
Yeah.
Sadly, where the people at the back was banging on the boards, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, whether you're the guy who's banging the boards?
No, that's not me.
Nice. I've just muted DJ for a little while, by the way, just because there's shouting in the background and it kind of distracts a bit. So let me know when that's calmed down, if that's all right. Acacia says hi, and the lads, welcome, happy Friday evening.
Acacia. But
yeah,
did I think that was a penalty against them? No.
Okay. And is it the same reason I'm saying as well? It was
well, there was a foul on Tri-Hume, wasn't there, before that penalty?
Yeah, there was a foul on Tri-Hume further up the pitch, but also the defender who caused the foul as well. So there was 2 fouls that were completely ignored, and the penalty decision was given. I thought it was a little bit too easy to give it to Bristol.
And I couldn't believe that what Pearson said after the game. That's actually their first penalty as well. They've actually had
this season.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Right, so DJ's voice. There you go. The shouting stopped. Good. So he's popped in the chat. John Motson stat. The commentary that launched a young Motson's BBC career, Match the Day, only intended to show a small clip of his match with a focus on being Liverpool versus Leeds and Preston versus Manchester United. Never heard of Preston.
Who were they?
We'll stop the Preston shit already. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. It's a frustrating point, but I'd much rather have a point than nothing, and I'd be more begrudged if it was still 0-0 and he gave that penalty in the last second, because there was a lot of decisions before that point that should have been called for Sunderland as well. Like you said, the Tri-Hume foul, but there was... I don't think we had a penalty appeal in that match, but we did have a couple of fouls just outside their box, which could have broken up play, could have sped it down, or could have put the emphasis on our attack rather than their defence. So...
Yeah, well, time wasting as well, you know, when their player was then on the touchline.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I thought that was the Rotherham game, but no. Seems to be a character trait for all of our opposition, doesn't it? Let's waste.
Yeah, it is.
Let's waste as much time as possible, because they end up conceding late on because of it. Yeah, he was off the pitch, and
yeah, he was off the pitch, and the ref wouldn't play on.
I don't understand that. Yeah, if it's head trauma, but he was off the pitch by like 2-3 yards, and like what was he trying to achieve?
Well, to be honest, Bowers would tell you, because I actually shouted my head off at the referee actually at that point.
He's off the pitch, get on with the game.
I actually shouted to the ref, just play on.
Do you think he heard you, mate? Because he clearly didn't play on.
He probably did. I'll shout louder.
It took him 3 minutes for that. But is a point at the stadium like a bad thing for that match?
Nah, I would have took that. I would have took the point before kickoff.
See, I disagree with that. To be fair, I think I disagree with Rotherham as well. A point before that game would have been tragic. What happened at the Rotherham game is just absolute embarrassment. But yeah, the Bristol City team were out of form and they pick up a point. Oh no, they were in form, weren't they? They drew 2 and won 2 in the last 4. So that I don't know. Actually, yeah, if the team's on the up and up, I guess a point is okay. But I think to concede in the 92nd minute from a penalty spot, it just feels like the winds were kicked out of our sails at that final whistle. Clark scored for us in that one, didn't he?
Yeah, it was Jack Clark.
Yeah. DJ, you back?
Yeah, hello.
Cool. So the Jack Clark goal against Bristol City. What do you think of it, first and foremost?
The goal itself?
The goal itself, yeah.
Just typical trademark Jack Clark. He cuts inside, he flicks the ball with his foot, drops his shoulder, bang, picks his spot.
Top bins again.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the goal. I think it was a moment of pure quality from him yet again. But my concern is we're reliant on Jack Clark, where we have been for like Clark, Roberts, basically the central midfielders and the wingers to cut in, to break past 2 or 3 defenders, then score. Is that concerning? The goal itself, absolutely brilliant, but
there's every chance he could get injured as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it can happen. That's why it's dangerous to try and rely on just on one player all the time. Look what happened to Ross Stewart.
Well, Ross Stewart's out for the rest of the season, isn't he? He's not got another 9 weeks.
He had his operation today, apparently.
Yeah, so when you have your operation, you've got at least 12 weeks in cast. Then you've got.
Oh, right.
Then you've got.
You can't play tomorrow, no?
You can't play. No, he could, but like.
He's out to the end of the season.
Maybe on a game of FIFA, not an actual match. So he's not. I doubt he'll be back until like October. To be honest, it's about 6 to 8 months before you start becoming able to run again.
I think Mowbray's expecting him back for the start of pre-season.
I honestly doubt that. It's too soon. You wouldn't want to be putting too much weight bearing straight onto it. You wouldn't want to be. The only way I can see it working is if he still does loads of cardio and stuff while he's in the cast. Which is like, what do? You can't row, you can't cycle, you can't run. How do you do cardio and keep yourself fit for that period?
Might affect our next season, couldn't it? We could have a bad start to the season next season without him.
Well, I think what it does is it decreases his value, so it makes him more likely to stay at Sunderland, and it makes us more likely to look for more strikers in replacement in that summer window. Yeah. But yeah,
hopefully we'll keep Diallo as well, because I hope he don't fuck off back to Man U, because their atmosphere is like a library at Old Trafford.
Well, it's doing much better than it has in the past over the last couple of months. To be fair, they are. They're doing all right. Last night was an unbelievable game for Man U.
He won't get any game time if he goes back to Man U. He'll get more game time at Sunderland, of course. But
is Marcus Rashford injured then?
No.
Is he missing the Carabao Cup final?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I seen a little snippet in one of the sports headlines on social media. He could miss the final.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know, mate.
Yeah,
just if you can confirm it.
He's injured. I checked on my football app that I have. He is injured, Rashford. So
that's it. Newcastle will win that now.
Not necessarily. No. I don't think Man U are reliant on one player to bag all the goals.
Other players as well.
So
I think it'd be 3-1 Man United. I think they'll win 3-1 Man U.
Well, it depends who goes in goal for Newcastle, because Pope can't play, can he?
Karius. I think Karius is going to be in goal for Newcastle.
And there you go.
They've got Mark Gillespie as well.
Gillespie, yeah. The how old is he?
There's a Premier League game tonight. Actually, I've just seen.
Yeah, Wolves have took the lead over Fulham 1-0 at the minute. We called that out, I think, at the very start of the stream. Yeah, sorry, that was a bit of a side tangent, wasn't it? From discussing Clark's goal to end up at Man U and Newcastle's Wembley final, and I don't know how that happened, but yeah, Clark's goal, the reliance on that winger cutting in is a bit. It's a little bit of a worry, and I think we're starting to get sussed out. The benefit of having an early kickoff against Coventry tomorrow is we can try something completely new, or we can keep going with what we've done over the past month or so. And now that Gelhardt's scoring, I can see that being beneficial for us in that Coventry match. Yeah.
You mentioned Coventry, Jans.
Yep.
The Coventry fan that Brad was on a Coventry fans podcast yesterday.
Yep.
And that Coventry fan said apparently because Tony Mowbray was with Coventry.
Yep.
The Coventry fan said that apparently Tony Mowbray has actually had decent results against Coventry.
He's had decent results against all of his former clubs. You got to remember we beat Borough, which was one of his former clubs.
Beat Blackburn at home, which was one of his former clubs as well.
So maybe it's a good omen. All of his former clubs where you get 3 points against. Yeah,
because Coventry's actually got a couple of injuries going into tomorrow.
The one player for Coventry that really worries me, like skill wise, is Gyökeres. Somebody can correct me out and say his name, but you know what I mean.
You're on about Victor
Gyökeres, yeah. He's banging goals in left, right, and centre. He's an absolute threat. So I think if we manage to keep him quiet and frustrated for the entire 90, we will win that game. He's a bit of a goal machine.
Callum O'Hare is injured.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference, to be honest.
Our former loanee from Man City hasn't. He's been doing well for them. Callum Doyle.
Yes, he has. Yeah. DJ, you've been quiet for a couple of minutes. You're on mute. Hello. Okay, try and involve him. Jacob.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts
on the what on again? Sorry, I'm getting
on the Cov match.
Cov match. I think it will be tight 'cause they are a pretty good side, Coventry. But I think you never know. We could get actually a surprising result because of Mowbray's omens against his previous clubs. So it would be a good 3 points if we beat Coventry, but it won't be an easy ride, I'll say.
Yeah. Do you want to throw into your predictions for that?
Oh,
it's an early kickoff. It's just 15 hours away.
There's two results in my head. One part of my brain saying 2-2, but another part of my brain saying 3-2 Sunderland. So, you know what? I'm actually going to go with 3-2 Sunderland.
Okay. I'm a little concerned with that scoreline, but Paul, what are you reckoning?
I don't know because I was down Rotherham and that performance. But Mowbray is going to make changes tomorrow.
He has to. Because it was.
I hope it is the right ones. No, I'll take 3-1 Sunderland.
Okay. Who's getting the goals for us?
Oh,
You both went with
think
3 goals. You both went with 3 goals. Who's getting the goals?
Diallo, Clark, and Roberts.
For me, Gelhardt is going to get one at Coventry.
Okay.
Patrick Roberts, and if he plays, I'm going to say Alex Pritchard.
Okay, I like that. DJ sounds like he's back. No, it just sounds like he's back. You can hear his background. I do think that you're both saying we're going to concede goals in this one, 3-1 and 3-2. That's concerning me because I think we've conceded 2 goals in the last 2 games, but I don't think we were 2 goals in the Rotherham game and then the one in the penalty against Bristol City. I don't think that defensively we can be as vulnerable as we were in those 2 matches. I think we're gonna switch it up at the back and go for a clean sheet. So I want to say Sunderland 1-0. I know that sounds like a really boring, tight scoreline, but I'd take a 0-0 draw and have a clean sheet over a goal fest on Sky.
I mean, a draw wouldn't be too bad, would it, against Coventry? Because they are a quite tight side. So, they're 11th at minute. So
yeah,
that shows that they are a pretty good side.
They've only won 1 less game than us so far this season, so they're pretty much on par with us.
They're not shit, are they? When you think about it, they're not a shit team. So
they had a very, very, very slow start of the season though, because of their pitch situation.
How's everything going on with their stadium? With Rico Stadium, is it all? Are they playing it somewhere else, or are they still playing it thingy?
They're still playing there, but I don't think it's called the Rico anymore.
All right.
But yeah, the pitch issues are resolved now because there's no festivals or tournaments being hosted there. The Birmingham Commonwealth Games stuff with the rugby. That's the whole reason the pitch was shredded. But yeah, they've all caught up on the games in hand. Really, they've got one more, I think, against.
Coventry got a game in hand on us.
Yes, they're on 32, but they are 5 points behind. So if we, there you go, that's better. They have 5 points on it, but if we beat them, that game in hand will pretty much mean that if we beat them, it's a 6-pointer for us, essentially. They have to win their next game that they have in hand to be back where they're at right now. So I don't know. I think it's an okay team to pick up a point against. Hello, boys in blue. Welcome along. Yeah, I think that's Coventry's a half decent opponent. They're on a decent spell. They've won the last 2 games on the bounce. That normally means for them that they are going to either draw or lose the next match. I don't think they've strung 3 wins together this season. Very much like us. Yeah, half decent team. Is DJ back? Or is it still background noise? I've muted him, by the way. Yeah, okay. A point against Coventry would be nice, but I'm going to go for us on a 1-0 win. And that would, I think, bring us back into the playoffs. We are just 1 point out of the playoffs, and if Millwall, Luton, or Watford draw, lose, and we win, essentially, we leapfrog them. So it's quite tight at that part of the table. Anywhere Norwich up can be in the playoffs. Come 3 o'clock Sunday, I guess.
As in, it's interesting because those 2 teams you mentioned, I've just seen who they've got tomorrow.
Yeah, and they are.
Luton's got Birmingham.
Luton, Birmingham, yeah.
And Watford have actually got Acacia's team, Sheffield United.
It's the perfect time to play Sheffield United, isn't it?
Isn't it?
2 losses on the bounce. They're They're 12 points adrift of Burnley in first place, but they're also 4 points safe and a game in hand on Middlesbrough. So they could lose this and still be absolutely fine. It's just if they keep dropping points, that might be interesting. So was that Watford you said against Sheffield?
Yeah, Watford's got Sheffield United.
So what are we hoping for in that game? A draw? Or a Sheffield United win?
Sheffield United win for me.
Yeah, Sheffield United win.
That's a strange one because if we go on a good spell, we could basically be 2 points away from Sheffield. It's unlikely to happen. Let's face it. We've got to win 6 on the bounce, and they've got to lose like 4 out of the 6 games. But
DJ's back, by the way.
it's mathematically possible. I can see and hear. Everything okay, DJ? You back? You good?
Yeah, fine.
Good. Did you sound out of breath?
Yeah, I just had to move from one end of the sofa to the other. I'm just a bit unfit.
Fucking hell. That's a little bit more than unfit, mate. So we've gone through. I don't know if what you've heard and what you haven't so far, but we've gone through the predictions for the Cov game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jacob said 3-2 win. Paul said a 3-1 win. I said I'd be happy with a clean sheet, but a 1-0 win is what I'm going to go for. And what are you going for?
I'm going for 3-0 Coventry.
Okay, why?
Just, I don't know. I'm just not very confident from that Rotherham performance. And with Coventry, I don't think we've done well against Coventry for a while. I always seem to get the upper hand on us, so they are a good, strong physical side. I think we'll struggle.
Well, they weren't ours, but we were theirs. We were the opening game of the season for them, right? They weren't able to fulfill their first fixture because of their pitch issues. But now it's at the newly named Rico. I don't even know what the stadium's called. Now it's at Coventry. We've pretty much leveled out the season so far against them. I'm a little bit more optimistic than you are. Yeah, they've won the last 2 games on the bounce, but that's.
I mean, of course, I want them to win. Absolutely, I'm just letting me head do the thinking and stuff, like, because I sort of guessed that wouldn't win against Rotherham.
Yeah, I get it, but it's they don't usually go on good winning streaks. They go on good unbeaten streaks, but not winning streaks. So they've won 2 on the bounce. They're probably likely to draw, going by their like normal form book. So I'm a little bit more optimistic. They've got one of the worst attacks in this league. They've scored 35 goals. Blackburn, who are the 4th, also have only 35 goals. Everybody else is above 40 in the top half of the table. They've
won the last 2, Coventry, haven't they? They've won the last 2.
Yeah, but they were against opposition that you'd expect them to beat. So I don't know. It swings and roundabouts. It's just, are we catching them on a really good spell, and we're on this 2-game rut where decisions don't seem to go our way, or will we just kick ourselves up the arse before we go into the game and fire out early goals and take a confident first half performance for the first time in a very, very long time?
They've not actually lost that many at home. They've only lost once, twice, I think, in.
Who's that?
22. Yeah, that was at home against Burnley.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who the team it was. I'm trying to think who the team was they lost against
Is
home.
it Preston?
I don't know.
Wait, what did he say? Last time Coventry lost a game?
No, they lost in 2022. They lost against Burnley, respectively.
Yeah.
Was it Birmingham? No, it wasn't Birmingham.
West Brom.
They've lost to Norwich at home.
Yeah.
Let me just do home. Lost to Norwich at home.
Decent, to be honest.
Blackpool in October and Preston in August. It was Preston.
They've got a decent home record.
They do have a half-decent home record. The thing is, though, looking at their history that so far this season, they start out the gates really slowly, and I think that's one thing that we've done poorly as well. So if we just change our or flip our mentality, let's bag 2-3 goals in the first half an hour, and then work out what to do after that, rather than, I don't know, coming in at half time and saying, all right, we'll level, or we're one behind, let's change our tactics accordingly. I don't know, I'd like us to get the front foot for once. It doesn't seem like
I watched them play against Norwich a few weeks back, and Norwich murdered them. I think they were 2 or 3-0 down within the first 15 minutes.
yeah.
Rather, I've just searched up the name of their ground, Coventry's. Their ground is Coventry Building Society Arena.
That sounds all. That's way too much of a mouthful. I'm not going to be saying that.
Better than the One Street Stadium, though, isn't it?
I know.
I don't know. I'd rather take the Elton John Memoriam or something. I don't.
Not far from you, is it? I'm Coventry. Not like too far, is it? When you
No,
think about it?
it's about a 35-40 minute drive. It's really not that bad to get to. Just down the A444. Anyways,
Heard it's a bit of a shithole, Coventry, but
it's basically like a big industrial estate with like a Victorian street, because the Germans bombed it a lot and they moved every building that survived into this one street. That's kind of a nice place.
It's a shame we haven't got any more of their ex-players with us anymore.
Yeah, but they were ex-Cov players for a reason. You know, like I don't know. I'd rather not. They lost 3-4 to Wrexham, by the way, at home a couple of weeks ago. That's a shocker, right?
yeah.
Against Phil Parkinson.
Yeah. So I don't know, something about Sunderland managers coming up against them. If you're looking at form books and stats, which we tend to like to do, they have points per game 1.7 at home. We have 1.5 away from home. I don't know. It's 41% chance that Sunderland will win. A 38% chance that Coventry will win, apparently. So,
well, to be honest, I think a lot of people will be worried because what Mowbray said in his press conference yesterday.
well, I don't get why we're doing press conferences 2 days early, but yeah, what did he say?
He said actually that there is a new injury. I don't think it's with the team that stayed back. I'm not sure if it's with the team, one of the team members he took down to Rotherham. I'm not sure, but there's a new injury.
It's when will the squads be announced? Because it's getting quite close to the game coming up, and we will put down a team. I'll put a team list down somewhere the night before, right? Normally.
Yeah, I think Mowbray would have took. I think the boys been the same team as he took down to Rotherham. He probably take down because he not take Anderson because Anderson played tonight.
Yeah, it will take the same team, but I think he might actually start a couple of the people that were on the bench. We'll talk about.
He did say that Patrick Roberts will come straight into the starting 11.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. That's absolutely ideal. Patrick Roberts, Jack Clark starting, lethal. So firing out the gates is good.
Why do you think he didn't start against Rotherham?
Tactics, I guess. I don't think it's anything other than he thought we might be better off without him starting and being that game changer later on, rather than the defenders sussing him out early. Because he tends to score around the 70 to 90 minute mark, doesn't he? That final 20-minute block. Doesn't normally score in the first half. So game changer rather than.
I think he wanted to give him a rest. You know all the games we've actually had. during the week.
It could be because we've got a stinker of results with fixtures coming up this next month, mind.
I know that some of the opposition we're coming up against is it's not great. But if you're looking at the other teams that have come up against the top two teams this last couple of weeks, so they've pulled decent results out of it. Who was it? Millwall beat Sheffield and they drew against Burnley. They played second and first and still came away with 4 points. It's not impossible. You've just got to perform as well as Millwall have in those two matches and be consistent about it. We can't. If we are genuine about wanting to push for playoffs, which is now in the realms of possibility, fantastic season, regardless. If it is something that
deep down inside, I think the owners really don't want playoffs. I think the owners are very, very happy with us just consolidating in the Championship this season.
Well, if that's the case, why not finish in the playoffs, have a fantastic season, but not win them? Like, you've got to be in it to win it, I guess. But like, what a daft mentality to have if that is correct.
But I think KLD Dreyfus, he'll just clack his underwear. If we get in the Premier League, then you really have to seriously spend some money, which I don't think he's really ever done since he's arrived. That'd be a shock to the system, to all of them, I think, and Speakman.
I think it's an investment we'd need. But also, if you go up, you get a parachute payment if you come straight back down. So maybe they don't spend the first year they're up, even if they do go up. It's a lot of ifs, whats and buts, right? We're just speculating at this point.
I mean, you never know. We could do a Fulham or a Brentford if we go to Prem. You just don't know, do you?
Brighton, when they first came up, they spent a bit, but they didn't spend as much as anywhere near anybody else who went up that season. And look where they're at now.
So we can't just assume that we'd go back down, can you? Because you just don't know, do you?
I've got to say, it's got to be the last 2 or 3 seasons for Everton. If they don't go down this season, they are going to be a Championship team soon.
Everton are going to finish mid-table. Mark my word, they will.
They probably will this season, but they've been hovering for the last 2-3 years. They can't keep hovering. We're the case in point of hovering around that bottom half of the table and not really doing anything with it.
Bournemouth are down. I'm sorry, but Bournemouth are down.
Bournemouth,
Southampton, and Leeds have gone.
Evening,
What about
Rosie.
Southampton, DJ? What about Southampton? Do you think they're down?
Yeah.
Well, you can't have 4 teams down, mate.
No. Bournemouth have Man
We can
City
dream.
tomorrow, so Bournemouth are fucked.
Yeah. We kind of skipped over it, by the way. I just realised the Rotherham game itself. We've alluded to like how poor we were in that game. I'll let you all call out an individual moment that you think either was fantastic for us or just an absolute shit show. So, Paul, because you were there, what was the biggest moment of that game for you?
Gelhart's goal. End.
I'm fair with that, mate. Gelhardt breaking his duck. You've been there to celebrate it. Wasn't it like at the 60th minute mark, something like that? Wasn't that late on?
Yeah, it was something like that.
There was still time for us to get a second. I know that, but it felt, I don't know, a little bit too. It didn't feel like we'd built up to it. It just felt like it came out of the blue. So,
yep.
Yeah. Gelhardt scoring. Okay, DJ.
Let me sort you out. I think the change was the big point was when nobody marked one of their players for their opening goal. I just thought it was such uncharacteristic defending by Sunderland, where we just seemed to all stand and freeze and just watch this player get nearer and more into space, and then he unleashed a shot. I think they got it into their heads. It's all right, you're not going to score from there, which is the wrong attitude to have. And I think that was a game changer. I think it set Rotherham on the way. They were on the offensive ever since then. I think it took the wind out the sails with Sunderland. But to me, that was a big decision for me. The big moment at Sunderland. It was just the horrible defending. It was like the old days of Larry Grayson, who was manager. I thought it was shocking.
I don't think it was the defending. It was the midfield, right? It was Michu and Pritchard.
Well, whoever it was, they certainly weren't closing them down.
And Neil was in midfield, was Michu.
Yeah. Dan Neil and Michu basically just let him like drive for 5-10 yards and take a shot from 30 out.
Yeah, he had about 15 touches, didn't he? He's like, well, I wear something, get a tackle in, get a block, get something in. I mean, Rotherham, when we went forward, they didn't give us any time on the ball at all.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, when that actually happened, I would tell you, I was actually shouting for Bar to actually come on.
Bar? For whom though? Who did you want off?
Let me get some.
Michu. Okay. So on the live stream, we called out Michu being on that pitch had very little impact. Like you could have replaced the things he did, the passes he made were okay. They weren't outstanding, and I think any other player would have done the exact same things. So changing him off wouldn't have made that much of an impact for anybody else, and you could change up the entire dynamic of the team with Michu being off the pitch.
Look out. 2 minutes.
Jacob, what was your moment of the game?
That goal. That was a nice moment.
2 seconds. I'm just gonna
Can you not just get us some?
mute DJ for a second while the background's happening. There you go. Sorry, go for it, mate. Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've muted DJ so your audio is clear to me. Be able to talk through it.
All right, that's good. But yeah, that goal was good. But to be fair, in that match, there was too many people at the back. Too defensive at the back.
Okay.
And their second goal was just dire on our perspective. Absolute dire. Embarrassing as well.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be losing to them. That's fucking disgusting in my opinion.
Rosie is saying it was atrocious yesterday at the signing yesterday at the Stadium of Light. The queues were crazy. Well, they announced there was going to be Sunderland signing, Sunderland players signing stuff yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was a sign-in session.
Yeah. I'll talk about that after we've finished Jacob's point. The second goal I felt was a carbon copy of the first in terms of Patterson. Patterson, for me, could have done so much better from shots from that range. He had plenty of time to see it. He had plenty of time to maneuver. Both of them were low and slightly to his right side. So that tells me he can't really drop bottom right all that well. And that is a weakness that I've identified as a layman, as a supporter. Imagine how much the technical coaches of our opposition will point out, shoot to the bottom right of this keeper. He struggles with them. You might miss a couple, but keep going in that place. Or if you give him the eyes for that place, finesse it round him. He seemed to struggle from shots from 20, 30 yards out and working out how to clear them up.
Giving you a right pet lip.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
Shouldn't be losing to Rotherham, in my opinion. It's not acceptable.
I don't think it's acceptable considering how low down the table they are, but
Blackburn lost 4-0 to them, so there's teams who've done worse than us. So we're not the only ones who've bottled it to Rotherham.
We're nothing special in that regard. Teams have lost to them. 8 teams have lost to them this season. So
Huddersfield lost to them at Rotherham's ground. I mean, I know Huddersfield, but
it just feels bad when you lose to a team that this late in the season that have performed poorly all season. I think we get that.
And I think our game's the catalyst of them staying up. I think after us, they might get some results in there.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, that was an absolute shock. I don't think they were expecting to pick up anything from that match. The fact that they got all three points is just a godsend. And also Cardiff at 1 point below them, who were struggling more.
Don't be daft, darlings.
Right. Let me know when DJ's cleaned up his background stuff. That's all right. Yeah, so we'll quickly talk about the signings yesterday at the Stadium of Light. Did you do anything with that, Paul? Because obviously I'm nowhere near the northeast anymore. Jacobs.
No, I didn't go down, but I heard that the queue was it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Apparently there was just one security guard.
Oh my God! Really?
There was no police. There was just one security guard on the door.
This sounds like a Facebook party that, like, yeah, my parents are out of town. Come to my house for a party. It just sounds like that, doesn't it? Like the entire masses of Sunderland just descended on the Stadium Lights store for their shit to be signed. Yeah, that's madness. One member of staff doing security. That's funny.
Well, have you heard the news about Skipper, aka Corey Evans, has signed a?
Oh yes. Was that to celebrate that signing event? Was that to celebrate the signing of? He done one signature. He wanted to sign one thing, then he wanted to sign everything.
Yeah. People call him Skipper, don't they? Because even on Sunderland official Instagram account, they said, "Oh, Skipper's done this and that." It's like,
does he skip?
No, but I think Skipper's another name for a leader, isn't it? But
hang on a minute, darling.
Just,
yeah.
A lot of people. He got a lot of hate though last season, Corey Evans.
I understand why he got a lot of hate though. It was
yeah, I wasn't fond of him, but you know,
no, not hate. I think it's more just misguided frustration, shall we say? I think it was just.
Yeah. A lot of fans did get angry at him, didn't they? They always blame.
Yeah, well, they always need to blame somebody if we perform poorly. Yeah. Like, I think
Gooch is one of those players as well that's quite. Some fans like him, some fans don't. You know, but can't have everything, can you, as a player at football?
Well, like, I think we've all been pissed off very recently about Luke O'Nien and his performances.
Yeah. Look at Swansea, look what he did there. He'd mess up, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, and the piggyback ride. Although it was funny, it was very, very funny, but like that would potentially be a red card, you know? Because
I bet if the Bristol player did that, nothing would have happened.
Oh, no.
Ref would have waved that away. If that was the Bristol player.
No, I don't think they would have. I think he was lucky to escape with just a yellow. Because, and this is if the referee wanted to apply the letter of the law, his hands were raised and they went over and onto the player's face and neck, which is a red card incident. So I think although it was funny to watch somebody get a piggyback ride, that's a red card offence, which is stupid because he's already been red carded once this season. So I'm counting our lucky chickens that the referee just went, yeah, that was stupid, yellow card.
So from a Bristol City fan's perspective, how would you be feeling when you saw Luke O'Nien incident? Would you be pissed that he didn't get a red?
No, I think because it was that funny, nobody's really looked at the technicalities of that foul. I've just looked into it and went, like, if you've basically choked, essentially you've been able to jump over somebody's neck and you could have choked him down. He just went, oh, and then like, what is it? It was like a weird kiss in his ear or something. Thanks for the ride.
If you did that on a, like your typical Saturday morning football games that you see.
Oh, the other player would have just punched him in the face if it was like if that Bristol City player was like Sunday League getting jumped on your back, you would just turn around and punch the guy. You wouldn't care.
Or you'd headbutt him back, wouldn't you? Like a backwards headbutt sort of thing.
Yeah,
to get him off.
It'd be a bit more aggressive. Let's say if it wasn't a professional match.
Oh, definitely.
So I don't think there's going to be a copycat incident up and down the leagues where players are getting piggyback rides to stop the attacker running through. But it's also not the first Sunderland player to do it. I don't know if you saw a couple of tweets and stuff, but there was Catamol doing it as well a couple of years back in the Prem.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Who was it against? Do you know who we were against? So,
I think it was West Ham.
Oh,
it was either it was either West Ham or Aston Villa. It was one of the brown teams that played in yellow that season.
all right. Because my favourite memory of Cattermole was when he was standing over Jack Colback after he pretty much broke his leg.
Yeah, that was fun. I think that was many people's profile pictures for months. Some still have it to this day.
Yeah.
There's some people actually had that picture blown up as well.
You can't blame them, though, can you? Right, we are coming up to roughly the hour mark. I don't know if DJ is back now or not, and life started to calm down or not. But do you want to call out what's happening on your channels, lads, or what you're doing socially, so we can work out, those that watch back or listen on the podcast, of how to find you, how to get a hold of you, how to get involved, all of that good stuff, because we're all Mackems.
Well, I think I'll just be sharing stuff on Instagram about maybe the match, after it's happened, maybe just the result. And if you can, for people who may want to follow me, I'm on TikTok, Jacob7545, and on Instagram, it's Jacob William Aviad. So feel free to follow if you want.
Perfect. Paul, it's your turn to plug, mate.
Well, on Monday, actually, we've got a supporter from Coventry actually coming on.
Oh, is it Matt SB?
No, it's not Matt.
He's like, he's too big for us
we've
now.
We've got somebody from Sky Blues TV.
Oh, okay. That's sick.
Coming on. I think it's a guy that Brad spoke to yesterday.
Okay. Feel free to invite him for this Mackem Football Show next Friday as well, because it would be nice to see, well, depending on what happens tomorrow, their perspective of the game. That'll be a nice take to have as well. Okay. Anything else?
And of course, well, after the game tomorrow, me and Brad and other people will be giving our views on the game
on RWA podcasts. Perfect. DJ, I don't think, is back. He's doing a live stream tomorrow, and he'll more than likely post a couple of goal videos. For me, I will be doing.
By the way.
Oh, he's back.
There, by the way.
He's back. DJ, you can speak.
Hello.
What we're doing? We're wrapping up. What you're doing, socials wise, content wise, so people can find you if they want.
Yeah, I'll be doing the live stream Coventry game, and I'll be doing some snippets, some short clips, monetization friendly on YouTube over the next coming few days. Just some classic goals and snippets of Sunderland.
There we go. Exactly like I called it. And same here. So we're doing a watch along stream tomorrow with DJ, Paul, and Jacob for the Coventry match, 12:30 kickoff. So we'll be going live 12:15 onwards, and then a league review video. And if we do score any goals, some shorts around the goals as well. So keep an eye on this channel. That's and for the Mackem if you're listening to it on podcast. And until next time, catch you in a bit. How are the lads?
Goodbye.